Hiya, how's it going? Just my experience, right, of sort of being diabetic in Ireland in 2019 and my opinion on how it is for others, right? Anyway, I was diagnosed in 2007, yeah, and I had to be admitted to hospital because my blood sugar was so high, and I spent several days there, and I was given insulin shots every 4 hours in order to bring my blood sugar down, right? And at that time now, I was pigging out all around me, and I wouldn't have had a clue about good fats, bad fats, sugar or carbs, or, the effect they have on the body or anything like that, okay? I was completely ignorant anyway. So when I was down in hospital, being treated for my high blood sugar, I also met the dietitian down there who gave me a healthy eating plan. And looking back on that now, like, that consisted of a lot of carbs, and which raise your blood sugar. And I didn't realize that at the time. I thought what I was being told at the time was the way to go, okay? And, it started off, have a breakfast with some cereal, and then have fruit, and, have a mid-morning snack of a diet yogurt, because there's less fat in a diet yogurt. But the reality is that diet yogurt's full of sugar, like. And, looking back on the food plan I was given at the time, it was very sugary, and, there's a lot of bread mentioned, and potatoes and rice and stuff. And, that's what I was given. And obviously I went home and I adapted to my diabetic lifestyle. And, I got on all the pills. And now, when I met the diabetic doctor, he said, "Oh, you need to give up sugar." And I thought it just meant sweet things. And I did give up sweet things for a while, but I was still taking the sugar into my system in the form of carbs. And I continued like that for 10 years. And after a while, then, a few years, then, my blood sugars, diabetes was getting worse. And then I was put on insulin. And this is the real problem, I already have insulin resistance and high levels of insulin in my system. And now I was given more insulin. And the thing about insulin is it will reduce your blood sugar to a point, or in the start anyway. But I continued on pigging out and continued injecting insulin and just got fatter and bigger and putting on weight, And it all came to a head then. I had my health complications. 2016, I got the leak behind my right eye. Okay, that was the first thing. And then in 2017, my blood pressure was so bad, I had to go to the doctor, and he was surprised. He was just waiting for me to have a stroke. Like, I was ready to have a stroke. So anyway, yeah, that's my story. But I think for most people who are diagnosed type 2 today, it's probably the same. They'll feel unwell, probably overweight. Not always now, but usually they're overweight, and they'll have that belly fat, and that's where the insulin resistance is in the belly fat. Anyway, they're not feeling well. They go to the doctor, right? And he says to them, "Oh yeah, he checks the blood sugar, right? Your sugars are up, so we'll have to get you down to the diabetic clinic and get going with the diabetic doctor and get in on the system down there." Then they're brought down there, and I don't think these days people are admitted to hospital for high blood sugar as much as they used to be. Now, I couldn't swear on that. Could be, but anyway, you get going down there in the diabetic clinic, and you meet the team and the nurses and so forth, and you put on the medication. And if your blood sugar is very high, they'll work on getting that down as soon as possible. That's the number one thing. And you meet the dietitian. And I'd like to know, someone comment please below, if the food plan is the same, because the last time I met the dietitian, it was much the same. It was high carbs, and cereal for breakfast, and fruit for mid-morning snack, and diet yogurts, and then it was lunch with bread and one thing and another. It was focused on low calorie but not low carb. And yeah, that's the way it is. So, most people get in on the diabetic system then, and then you get your long-term illness book, where it doesn't matter in your financial status or anything. You're if you're diabetic in Ireland, you get your medication, most of your diabetic medication for free. Whether you're employed or self-employed or unemployed, doesn't matter. You get on that system. And, you know, a lot of people just kind of get into that rut then, they become diabetics, and that's it. They struggle on, and, you know, maybe they give up desserts for a while, and then they go back having desserts. Because they're having carbs. If you're having carbs, you're bringing that sugar into your system, and then you have that desire for more sugar, you know. Sugar makes you want more sugar, you know. That's just the state of it, like, you know. And the years slip by, and, you know, often people's health just gets progressively worse. They go from just taking a couple of metformin tablets to be put on insulin, and they end up, you know, they're taking insulin and it maybe works in the short term, but they're still pigging out, and the insulin makes them put on weight. So, and then before you know it, maybe you're 15 or 20 years a diabetic, and you end up like someone like poor old Brendan Grace there, and you know, you end up losing a couple of toes. And he admitted that he's still a diabetic and he's still eating ice cream and stuff. So anyway, for me, I was 10 years a bad diabetic, and even though I was working out in the gym for years, say from 2010 or 11, I was doing heavy workouts, put up lots of muscle, but covered in lots of fat, all that. And but really the change came in 2017. I did a lot of research online, and, you know, people like Dr. Ava, and I'd seen her stuff, the dietdoctor.com, very good. It's owned by a Swedish doctor. It's an excellent website. Dr. Berg, of course, and various other resources. Just, it all came together for me, and I adapted into this whole low carb fasting regime now, where I fast in the mornings. You know, I get out, I go for fasted cardio, and then lunchtime then I'll have a low carb meal, and then I'll have an apple cider vinegar shake. And then, you know, I might have a protein shake sometimes. And then, you know, I'll go to the gym a few days a week. I work out, I come home, and then I try to have another low carb meal. But I do have some carbs. I still do have some potato, I have some rice, and occasionally I have a few chips and that. And I've still been able to lose weight, and I have my blood sugars down. Like, my sugars are typically, the level in the mornings around 6, you know. And I had seen readings of up to 20 when things are really bad now, you know. This is just a bit of it's just an impromptu kind of video, but I don't know if diabetes can be reversed completely. It probably can't be reversed completely, I don't know, but mine is in a lot better control now. But I still have high blood pressure and sleep disorder and stuff. Maybe they'll get better in time too, but I just, reading on the diabetic groups and the forums and all that, there's just so much conflicting information out there. And the thing about the whole low carb ketogenic diet is that it's you know, if you're going into the diabetic clinic and you're being told to have carbs and you've been trained that way, well, it's very hard to move away from that, you know. Plus, most people out there are still into carbs. Most houses you go to, you call them, people are eating bread and potatoes, and certain people can tolerate carbs, yeah. I know a guy in the gym, for instance, and, you know, I was just talking about this the other day, and he reckons, carbs, he's into carbs. He's a very fit guy. He's a physically fit guy. He's very into sports. So he's no body fat. So clearly, you know, he can have carbs. No, carbs, no problem for him. But other people can't, like, other people can't tolerate carbs. I'm one of them. But, you know, I have to say, like, I know weight's falling off me, and it's a good thing, like. I'm buying myself a few years, you know. Anyway, we're on nearly 10 minutes, yeah. Anyway, that's just my opinion, like, on the state of diabetes in Ireland today. And I could waffle on more, but bottom line is, there's an awful lot of people out there, in my opinion, and I know this is the view of Dr. Ava and Dr. Berg and various other people, and a lot of people in Ireland who have made the change, but they're going through unnecessary suffering, yeah. They just really are, like, they're suffering on there with just taking wheelbarrow loads of medication and putting up with the side effects, where they could make the change, you know, and adapt to the low carb lifestyle. But it's something you've got to ease yourself into. You can't just get up in the morning and do it. You've got to try and fail a bit and experiment with it a bit, you know, and get into fasting. Move your breakfast out, you know. Start off, you know, if you have your breakfast at 8 o'clock, move it to 9 o'clock. Move it to 10 o'clock. Go for a short walk before your breakfast. And take time and transition into the whole thing, you know. Anyway, I'll leave it there. Yeah. Anyway, look, thanks for watching. Subscribe. A lot more videos coming, and I'm really stuck into this now. And if I can help you at all, if you're still watching this video, if I can help you, send me a private message through Facebook or YouTube or Instagram, any of them. And if I can offer any help.